Hi clients, this is Sean Tobin, your CPA, and here's a quick video about federal estimated payments, also known as quarterly payments. These payments, some of my clients need to make quarterlies, and likely we've already had discussions in the past about whether or not you need to make quarterly payments. Generally, I will attach vouchers to the tax return for the next year's quarterly payments. So you should already have what's the amounts for what's called safe harbor voucher payments. And these safe harbor payments will, if you make these payments at least, will ensure that you're not subject to the underpayment penalty. So let's talk about how to make a payment online. And I have sent out videos about this before you may have seen, but it's always good to have a quick refresher. So if we go to irs.gov/payments, you're going to have two options. You have Pay Now with Direct Pay and Pay Now by card or digital wallet. So this is going to be a debit or credit card. There will be processing fees if you go this method. Most people use Pay Now with Direct Pay because it avoids fees, and this is a direct debit from your bank. So for now, we'll click this, and we'll click Make a Payment. Select a reason for payment. This is going to be estimated tax, and apply payment to 1040 ES. It's the only option available, so it makes you select this option, and tax period of payment 2024. Because really what these are prepayments for what your return is going to be next year. You're prepaying the tax due for when we file next year. And again, the only purpose of this is to avoid underpayment penalty. So we'll hit continue. We have to verify that we selected the right thing. I always triple check this. We're making a payment for estimated tax for 1040 ES, which is the name of the estimated payment voucher for tax year 2024. Is this correct? Yes. Continue. So we have to verify our identity, and it's going to match this against information IRS already has on file. So tax year for verification, this is a drop down. You're going to pick a tax year for a return that you've already filed. Generally, we just pick the most recent return. So for a lot of you, that's going to be 2023 or maybe even 2022. So we're going to take information from that prior return and verify right here, so mainly through filing status, name, address, and social security number, date of birth. So filing status is whatever filing status was on whatever year you pick. So whether that be single, married filing joint, head of household, married filing separate, whatever. I need to point out, though, for married filing joint returns, you know, that they're joint returns, so there's two taxpayers listed, and the IRS labels those taxpayers taxpayer and spouse. So taxpayer is the one listed first at the top, and then the line right under that is spouse. So when you're doing a verification for a married filing joint return, we need to use the first listed spouse, aka the taxpayer. So that's the information that's going to go here. The name, the social security number, the date of birth of that taxpayer, and this address is whatever address was on that return. So if you have moved since you filed this return, you're going to go with that old address for this purpose. And the next screen, I'm not going to fill all this out, but when you hit continue, that's where you'll enter your bank account, routing number, name of bank, probably checking or savings account, basically your banking details, and the amount you want to pay. So as I mentioned, I generate safe harbor vouchers for my clients that do make quarterly payments. And, you know, in the absence of any better information, I recommend you make the payments that were on the voucher. So the third quarter voucher is the next one due. Generally, it's due September 15th, but this year, September 15th falls on a Sunday, so it's due September 16th. That's the third voucher. And if you have vouchers in your return, whatever amount was on that voucher is the amount that you would pay if you're making this third quarterly. Now, as an additional service for a fee, we do offer some more precise ways of dialing this number in, because the safe harbor payments, like I've said, the only purpose of those is to avoid the underpayment penalty and to start covering some of your tax due. It won't necessarily cover your entire tax liability for 2024. It's going to cover just enough to avoid the underpayment penalty. So if you want a more precise calculation that really dials in exactly based on year-to-date P&L performance, talk to me and I can offer that to you. So one more point I want to make. Please, anytime you make a payment to IRS, I highly encourage you to do it on this website, whether that be for estimated payments, for the amount due, for the balance due on your return, for extension payments. Anytime you make a payment to IRS, it's imperative you do it on this site. I've had too many cases in the past of IRS losing checks, and they are very bad at processing paper checks. Happens over and over again. And you will write a check to IRS. They may even cash it, and then they don't properly apply it to your account. And then they send letters saying, why didn't you pay us? Even though you have a copy of the canceled check from your bank. And then we have to send that in. So a way to avoid that is to make the payments online. It will almost ensure that it gets properly applied to your tax account. And when you complete the payment on the screen, it'll take you to a confirmation page. And again, I highly recommend printing this confirmation page to PDF and dropping it in your portal. So I have a copy. It'll help me complete the tax return next year, and I have it for safekeeping in case IRS ever asks, where's that money you sent us? It'll make things much easier on the back end. So I'll leave it there for now. And as always, thank you for being great clients, and let me know if you have any questions.